Boat vlog. Haven't seen you for months. I've been doing a lot of work actually. I've finished the intake. I've got most of the exhaust made. I had to remake a few other parts that I wasn't happy with, but I'll just spin this around. You can have a look at the motor before I put it in. Okay. And there she is. Not quite there with the plug leads yet. I've got to change the ends on these two. But the other side worked out okay. This is my intake setup. I know you don't really need a an air filter on in a boat, but actually it's not as an air filter. I just want it to shut it up. I don't like intake noise. So, but the intake is like a top hat that goes onto there. It fits between here and there. There's actually a rubber in between the two to stop them from knocking. And that clamps onto a plastic ring that I've put onto the throttle body. And obviously I made this to fit into the end of the stainless 4-inch pipe. I got some 90mm mass airflow sensor, intake air temperature sensor. What else? Yeah, and the throttle setup. I don't know if I've showed you the throttle setup, but I've remade the back of it. I remade the back. I had a lot of goes with the with the adapter plate, and in the end, I got it somewhere pretty good. I've got it nice and central, and I'm hoping it's going to fall into place pretty well. I haven't even tried it in there actually, but this is the throttle assembly that I've got. It's all ball bearings. It's very smooth. And the cable mounts here and just pulls straight across the top of there. It hooks into here, obviously. I'm using an old control setup, an old Mercury control setup, but everything clears. I've got clearance on this and on the exhaust and everything else. So everything's wired up on the motor. Absolutely everything. I've got all my wires labelled that need to be labelled. All the stuff that I've added, because I added a lot of sensors and stuff for myself. So I had a temperature gauge and that sort of thing. I didn't bother to sort of get like a dash out of a Commodore or something like that. I wanted it to be a bit more, well, I wanted to be more reliable. I didn't want it chucking trouble codes all the time. So basically that's it. I've still got to make some mounts, but I'll do that once I get it in there and when I actually see where it's going to fit. But these are the controls I'm using. Very old Mer control setup. It's got everything I need. It's actually got these, it's got a starter lockout, so it will only start in neutral. It gives me full throttle. It's got plenty of travel. I've already set up the, this is all the setup for the throttle cable that mounts on top of the motor. And there's the gear change, which is the other part of that is still in the boat. There's a switch there that I want to hook up that kills the motor when you go from forward to reverse, just so it engages gears. Because I don't know if you know this, but what can happen is if your idle's too high, if you're going forward and you want to quickly go into reverse, if the idle's too high, it takes a while for the flywheel to slow down, and once you disengage it, and then also the prop is being driven, so it won't engage. So you get this really stiff sort of engagement where it won't go in. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I've got to make a mount for the dipstick, and I've got to shape that in a way that it's going to be sort of convenient, because the way it is now, it's not too good. May need to shorten it, I don't know yet. But we'll see. We'll see about that once I get it in the boat. There's going to be a fair bit of cutting to do, and the next video will basically be me cutting everything up so that this fits, and then remaking everything so it's enclosed. So lots and lots and lots of itchy fiberglass, and but yeah, So everything's ready to go. Yeah, everything's ready to go. I just need to do some more plumbing. This is, hang on, I'll just get around here. Yeah, this is the end point for my water, for my raw water. Obviously, I've made a little T-piece there. I think this is inch ID, and this is 1.5 inches. So it's 1.5 inches into 2 inch, 2 by 1 inch. So I mean, it should be enough. And obviously, the water pump will give us plenty of flow. I've got to shorten these and plumb everything up. But yeah, so far so good. We're going okay. And what else? No, it's got everything it needs to run now. All I need to do is hook all the wires up and set up my relays and all that sort of stuff. The dash is done. You've seen that in an earlier video, I think. If you haven't, I'll go back and... It's been so long since I've done anything. And I've just been so busy at work and... yeah, been running my kid around mostly. But yeah. Yeah, the videos will be coming a little bit more frequently, simply because I'll be putting it in the boat and doing a lot more work over the next couple of days, and hopefully I'll get some footage of that. I found my tripod again. You can see it in the reflection there. I use I use this sort of like a selfie stick. So I got my tripod so I can set that up in the back and maybe do some slow-mo, like some time lapse of me fucking around with the motor. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I've made some, obviously, you haven't seen these. These are, obviously, it comes off here as 4 inch. All right, so I've got this coming down. I've got some 4 inch exhaust hose coming to hook them, these parts to the actual manifolds on both sides. And I've got a couple of reducers. And then I've got, for the bottom, I've got this, which bolts on in place of the original exhaust manifold. So everything's going to exit out of the, the Great Weld, aren't I? Everything's going to exit out of the port on the transom plate. That's what I was that's the word I was going for. Obviously, I'll put some weld on the end of these to stop shit popping off, and there'll be big fucking T-bolt clamps and whatever. But I actually have no idea. Hang on, let me just change positions. This sits, I've just sort of was in there with a tape measure, and this sits really close like this. So I have no idea. I'm probably going to have to remake this in another way. I've really no idea whether it's going to work or not. So I've got to put the motor in and see. But I got, I had 4 of them cut. So the next one will be, this is attempt number 2. And these are big. These are like 63. So these are 2.5 inch or something like that. Yeah. So, yeah, they're well done, great, but they'll seal. So that's the main thing. The welds on the exhaust are actually a lot better. They actually came up pretty nice. It was a lot simpler, and obviously there was no gaps and things like that, so it was easy to lay weld on those. I got a lot of bends and pipe in here to plumb all my cooling water around the place. I think I've got enough stuff to finish. You say that, and then the next thing you'd know, you're fucking spending another fucking $100 or something. But another $1,000. But I dragged everything out tonight, and all the bends and stuff that I'm not using have been fucking diced, and yeah, so lots and lots of welding and cutting and grinding and farting around and making bits, and yeah, cutting wheels. And the top hat wasn't too hard to make. That came together actually pretty good. I just squashed a piece of 4-inch in the press. That's my press over the back there. Put it between 2 plates and just squashed it. Had the hat, put the cutout in it, and basically it's got a ton of space in there. It's not going to restrict at all, as far as I can see, apart from having to make a 90-degree turn. But that's not really going to make any difference until you're at fucking flight revs, and I'm never planning to fucking open this thing right up, he says. But that will probably happen. But no, I've got no plans to really bet on this thing, so if someone else wants to do that, it'll be their problem. So, yeah, it'll probably never go over half revs, you know. It's an old boat and I don't want to beat it up too much. And the water in WA is, unless you're at the estuary or in the river, it's just, once you get offshore, I mean, there aren't that many calm days. It's always rough, so I don't really want to bash on a 40-year-old boat too hard. But yeah, there it is. There's my fully marinized V6. Now, I know a lot of you are watching, well, a lot of you, I think it's 5 or 7 of you or something, they're actually watching these videos that are subscribed. There aren't many. So, and I'm not surprised, but because it's a very specialized thing. But you're probably going to ask me, is it worth doing? Absolutely not. It is not worth doing. At the moment, I'm still digging it because it's just super interesting. I like doing things that are interesting, and to me, this is very, very interesting. So I'm learning a lot. I've certainly become a lot better at welding stainless, welding aluminium, and doing stuff like that. I never thought that I'd sort of have a need for those sorts of skills, but this is definitely something that my main thing is motor building. So, but I have to say it's been a real trip actually to just getting my head around what actually makes a boat fucking work and fitting everything into a small space. It's a lot. You need to plan ahead a lot. You need to be 2 steps ahead of yourself. So, yeah, I guess that's it. All right. See you next time.